Good evening, everybody. It's April the 27th, 2019, and I am Sarah Tonen, and you're listening to the Serotonin Receptor. Before I go on, I'm going to give the email address as I keep forgetting it until the end of the podcast. But if you want to send any questions or comments or anything that you would like me to consider reading out, and I'll get into that in a minute, please do send the information to sarah.tonen.receptor@gmail.com, and that is spelled sarah.tonen.receptor@gmail.com. And I said it like that because I got a really amazing email from one of my listeners this week that I decided to read out because it's just phenomenal information about the 4 tribes of Israel / Tartary. And I can just see Static in the Attic having a complete meltdown over that. But it is very, very interesting information. The Tartary is a phenomenally interesting subject, and you are with very good company in terms of that, because I have been researching this for a long time with the help of many awesome people that I have met online and lots of fantastic researchers. So this is fantastic information. I think it's really compelling, and if you've already been following along, you'll already know a little bit. And so without further ado, some music to start off our podcast.
I'm in with the in crowd. I go where the in crowd goes. I'm in with the in crowd, and I know what the in crowd knows. Anytime of the year, don't you hear? Dressing fine, making time. Free breeze up and down the street. We get respect from the people we meet. They make way day or night. They know the in crowd is out of sight. I'm in with the in crowd. I know every latest dance. When you're in with the in crowd, it's easy to find romance at a spot where the beat's really high. If we're square, we ain't there. We make every minute count here. Our share is always the biggest amount. Other guys imitate us, but the original's still the greatest. Got our own way of walking. We got our own way of talking, yeah. Any time of the year, don't you hear? Gotta have fun. Spending cash, talking trash. Girl, I'll show you a real good time. Come on with me and leave your troubles behind. I don't care where you've been. You ain't been nowhere till you've been in. With the in crowd, yeah. Oh, with the in crowd. We got our own way of walking, yeah. We got our own way of talking. In the in crowd.
Oh, it's been quite the week, like I said. I had a kind of an interesting incident today. I took my kids to the YMCA today to go swimming. And when I got there, the particular location that I had chosen, we used to go there all the time. I mean, over the last 8 years. And they apparently, all the renovations they have been doing over the last couple of years, switching their family change room into a universal change room to make things safer for the trans community, is my guess, because they certainly don't go out of their way to make things safer for families and children these days, for the most part. So anyway, that's fine. So we go there, and we go into the universal change room, and in all of their construction that they've done over the last few years, and it's not just switching the family room to a universal change room, they also did a massive go on the women's plus membership change room, which is basically when you pay extra to have all these, like, they installed a weight room and a lounge and all this extra stuff, so it's like, fancy, kind of almost like a spa in there. So anyway, I end up we go and we're going swimming, and so one of the things that they didn't do is install a passageway from this change room to the hallway entering the pool. So the idea is that whether you're a family with young children of different genders or you're trans, the idea is that you're going to go in there and you're going to change into your bathing suit, and then you have to come out of that change room and go to the front desk, the secondary desk, not the main desk, but the secondary desk, and stand there in your bathing suit and wait for an escort to somehow get you to the pool. Now, they had to get an escort, which is like a staff member, to escort my 8-year-old son through the men's change room to get to the pool. So I don't even know what they must do when they're, they have someone who identifies as trans trying to go through there. Like, what kind of political minefield have they put themselves into for this? All the while trying to be so politically correct, okay? So this is a universal change room. They can't ask anyone what you identify as you going in there. So, of course, the change room is mostly occupied by, I would say, 20-something, definitely not trans men, who were sitting around eating junk food and playing with their cell phones in the change room. Now, every single time I've ever been to a YMCA location, doesn't matter where it's been, whether it's been in my home city or somewhere else, there's always a staff member in the change room just making sure everything's okay, and usually cleaning up and tidy, whatever they're doing, tidying. Not a single person walked through that change room the entire time I was there, and it was supposed to be a safer change room, a universal change room, and yet it was a bunch of young men sitting around talking on their cell phones, looking at their cell phones and eating snacks while I'm trying to get changed with my kids. Now, if I was trans, I would not feel comfortable in that change room. And what is ironic is that this particular YMCA is in a neighborhood that is very friendly to the LGBTQ alphabet community. So I was absolutely flabbergasted. I've actually written a Yelp review, which I never do normally. And I'm actually going to speak with the manager because I don't understand what is safe about this change room, what is going on, and why my 8-year-old son is a threat. When apparently, what is all of this business? So if a middle-aged man can identify as a 6-year-old girl, but my 8-year-old son has to be escorted through the men's change room by a perfect stranger who works for them because he's not deemed safe enough to go through the women's change room. They even have a sign that says that children aged 6 to 10 cannot go through there. They have to be accompanied by a parent or caregiver of the same gender as them. So honestly, people, what is going on? It's an absolute mess. Nobody's safe, and all of the opportunists are taking advantage of the situation. So anyway, that's that. All right. We are going to have a little of this. Hang on a second.
For me, Grammarly is akin to a writing assistant.
It's our editor on site.
It's a side.
cheap. She says you know that you can go much faster. I know the people's talk can be so cheap. Hey, I've got this voodoo child ingrained on me. I'm gonna use my power to ascend. You know I've got these blinding gifts to use, such that there's no way I lose. I was born to rock and built to last. You know, see my feet can move so fast. Dancing, hey, nothing left for me to do but dance. All these bad times I'm going through, just dance. Hey, got candy in my ears tonight, baby. Hey, I've got to dance. All the nasty things that people say, dance. But I'm gonna make it anyway, dance. Got candy in my ears tonight, baby. You know this boogie is my real God. So much candy in my ears, yeah. Gonna dance my blues away tonight. You know I'm gonna dance my blues away. You know this boogie is my real God. So much candy in my ears, yeah. Gonna dance my blues away tonight. Dance, come on. Got candy in my ears tonight. Oh, yeah. Candy in my ears tonight. All right. Candy in my ears tonight. Oh, yeah. Hey, got so much. Hey, DJ, let the music play. Let the music dance. Party line. I wanna let this party line. DJ, come and get us away. Let the music dance. Party line. I wanna dance. DJ, let the music play. I wanna dance. Party line. I wanna dance. DJ, come and get us away. I wanna dance. Party line. Hey, my got so much candy in my ears. Gonna dance my blues away tonight. Woo! You know this boogie, that's my real. Got so much candy in my ears.
Whew. Well, I do feel better. So, I've been getting these really amazingly dense and sort of just very incredibly well written emails from one of my listeners, and I'm just gonna go ahead and read this. I'm gonna keep going with anonymity. But this is brilliant stuff, and I really would like to read it to you guys. Okay. The title of the email is "The Tribes of Tartary: What the Parasites Are Afraid of and Their Return." And this was sent to me 3 days ago. Thank you, by the way, my listener. Thank you very much for this. The tribes of Israel, in brackets Tartary, the gold, silver, bronze, and iron tribes at the end cycle, 26,000 years. 144,000 of God's children will illuminate and be seen amongst men for who they are. Their numbers will be layered like a pyramid. They would be amongst us, but some have fallen into lower consciousness and have forgotten who they are. You will know them only because their skin glows and a distinct halo can be seen around the face. We are in the lower ages of the cycle, and the ether is not so strong. This ether energy is returning at this moment to kickstart the golden age of enlightenment again. The chemtrails are being sprayed to lessen the effects of this ether energy. Far more people should be waking up at this moment, but it is being delayed through the media mind control and the blockages in the sky. The ether has affected us and others. The angles of light are changing. Those that cannot resonate with the changes appear to be going psychotic. The controllers are acting out of desperation. They have the information and are measuring the ether coming in from the galactic center. The Jesuit Roman Catholic Church has the largest observatory on the planet. We had a strong influx of ether in the 1960s. This changed the mindset of the people, and we got the hippie movement and a lot of rebellion from an awakened mass of people. The parasites quickly changed their approach and turned the awakening into a party with rock concerts and drugs. Then back to materialism and lust. The ether subsided and masses returned to their slavery. At the beginning of the Golden Age, the ether is very strong, and this is why we can see these amazing structures being built with the utmost precision. As time progresses into the cycle and the ether fades, so does the consciousness of the masses and the memory in the divine races. Just as the moon waxes and wanes, it's all a cycle of the great year. The seasons would be the same cycle on a smaller scale. We are actually put to sleep in the lower ages. It's a kind of testing. Nature wants to improve on its creation. The wheat being separated from the chaff, a kind of separation. The controllers know this information and have taken advantage of the sleeping masses. They also know when a catastrophe is about to happen, given the esoteric information they have stolen from the Tartarian libraries. This information now sits in the Jesuit libraries under the Vatican. 5 miles of knowledge they stole with their crusades and witch burnings in the last 500 years. There is a divine race within mankind. The ones that incarnate here through all its cycles, the ones closest to Source and our creators. They are still remembered through their tribes of the lion, bull, eagle, and man. Notre Dame is another one of their cathedrals built by the saints of Tartaria. The tribes knew that their structures would be destroyed in the lower ages, like the mandalas that the monks take months to create, only to be destroyed with the swipe of a broom in a second. Nothing is permanent, and the cycle of birth, death, and life will go on for eternity. And then I was sent a number of pictures, which I guess I'll find out if I have permission to share them. But if I do, I will put them in the description box. So the second pick would be the tribe of Dan, represented by the ace, the first, the white race in the tarot cards, and the sword in the Celtic tradition. The third picture, the spades here, can be seen in the scroll work at the back of the Dundurn Castle in Hamilton. The Tuath of Danann, the tribe of Dan. Tartarian divine tribes of Israel. Fourth pick would be the 8-sided pyramid. 8 messiahs. There is actually an indent on each side of the Giza pyramid. The tribes of Tartaria encoded the information in the structure, a book in stone, not a tomb. The tribe of the serpent represented by the snake. The 4 sides point to a tribe: lion, bull, eagle, and man. The Pharisee and the serpent on the front of the headdress. The pharaohs, had the serpent on the front of the headdress. They would be the tribe of Dan. Also, the last 3 tribes or races would be pharaohs, Tartarian kings and queens of the divine race of God. The stonework in the headdress would have encoded information of the numbering system of the tribes. 72 lapis lazuli stones in the headdress, 72 in each tribe of divine ones. 144,000 capping stones on the Giza pyramid's outer structure. All have been removed or blown off with heavy explosives. The pyramids were in good working order and well maintained up to 200 years ago. The Hyperborean Mamelukes were the caretakers. In the 6th picks, you see the Berbers of the North African tribe of Dan and their descendants. The 7th pick is the gold and silver tribes for the subsequent gold and silver ages of the cycle of time. Excuse me. 8th pick, the cycle of time in the great year. We are in the last few degrees of the Iron Age. In the 9th pick, we see the Tartarian tribes and how they break down in layers. The Vitruvian man would be the first gold and silver tribes. The tarot deck has their story encoded in the cards, and also your regular playing cards: spades, white race, clubs, native race, diamonds, black race, and hearts, the Asian race. The 10th pick is the tribe of Reuben, the native race. This is also why we see the clover shape in the cathedral. It is also the Trinity, the divine male and female, and the Creator. In the 11th pick, the tribe of Judah, the black race. Some still remember and have made one of the largest statues in Africa, honoring the gods of the divine race of Tartaria, a giant statue for the Olympians and the Titans. 12th black kings and queens, the messiahs of the tribe of Judah. The 12th pick of the cross would be a representation of the 4 tribes, north, south, east, and west. 13th, all 4 tribes in the tarot cards. Encoded in cards, the same information would be encoded in churches and cathedrals. 14th, tribe of Dan, of Dan and the serpent. If you have the eyes to see, there is a rock outside of University of Toronto. It has a serpent carved in it. It was uncovered in the dirt and put as a work of art on the lawn. The tribe of Dan. I am going to find that. I've actually started wondering if my city is not more important than I realize. The 15th pick, the passage of time and the ages of time. From divine men to the mortal man. Man trapped in materialism must pass the weighing of the heart ceremony. Through good works we all will pass. We are being tested in this age of iron, but will be moving back to source as the shaft gets separated. 11th pick, a depiction of how the pyramids of Egypt are a representation of the gold and silver, bronze, and iron tribes, built at the beginning of the Golden Age. 17th, the Maya also portrays the tribes. This was a scroll released from the Vatican archives just recently. The Jesuits are giving us bits of information. 17th pick, tribes again in the cycle of time. 18th, Asian race of the gods, Ephraim. 18th, demigods in all religion, born of immortal mother. 144,000 casting stones on the pyramid of Egypt and its connection to the tribe. 19th, okay. Bull, eagle, lion, bull, eagle, and man, and the angel demigods. 21st, St. George's Cross, seen in the British flag, would be the 8 messiahs and the 4 tribes all in one. The controllers have just copied the symbolism. 22nd pick. As halos can be seen around planets, halos can be seen around planets, they can also be reflected in the tribes. The Earth has its aurora at its north pole, an illumination and a proof of its divinity. 23rd pick. The waxing and waning of the cycle of man in the great year cycle. 24th pick. The great year cycle, Fibonacci spiral of life from Golden Age to Iron Age. 25th pick. How our souls incarnate from the Orion Nebula. The first, of course, would be the divine race and their tribes. We would be their offspring. Proof of the tribes of Tartary encoded on the ceilings of their cathedrals. And then a link to Project Bluebeam notes, they fear the divine race of 2288. And then also a YouTube link. And then it goes on. Also the process of off-incarnation of the divine race from the Orion Nebula. Being given a YouTube link. 1 to the ancient Egyptian understanding of the soul and conscious connection to Orion. The cover-up continues, and this is what these controlling families are trying to hide, the divinity within mankind. More will go under the cover of darkness, but they cannot hide in the light. All will be revealed. They can run, but they cannot hide. The truth always surfaces. And then it's signed by my listener. So incredible information, and this is the thing, like, it just, there was so much work and effort put into this. I really, really wanted to talk about this with you guys, and if I, do get permission, this will be in, like, you will have been watching, the images this whole time. And I will put links in for the videos after, or maybe mirror them as I watch them. So I like to make sure I know what I'm mirroring with videos every time. So thank you very much to my listener. That was just really so incredibly well written and really deserved to be shared. So yeah, thanks again. Hey everyone. So you may have noticed there's a little bit of sort of a quality of sound change happening in between segments, and so I just wanted to address that and be very transparent about it. I actually had to record this podcast over a couple of different days because it's a little bit of a busy weekend, so I wasn't able to get everything done all in one day. And one of the things I wanted to share with you guys all, because it's spring over here in the Northern Hemisphere, I have a really amazing document that I have been using for a couple of months, maybe about a year now, and it's how to use the chi energy of trees to heal yourself. So some of you may be somewhat familiar with grounding and earthing, which is basically taking your shoes and socks off and walking barefoot on the ground or on concrete, wood. Basically, actually, wood is not the best receptor, or sorry, I'm getting all my terminology wrong right now, but the wood is not the best conductor. Thank you, brain. Yeah, basically what you're doing is you're getting the neutral energy from the earth to neutralize your body. It's the energy, the grounding energy of the planet. And if you do live in North America, I'm unfamiliar with other plugs in other countries, but the plug that you see in Canada has two flat prongs and then a circular, like a cylindrical prong, and that is your grounding prong. So you actually use grounding with a lot of electronics. So trees, however, have a slightly more potent benefit because of their roots, and because a large part of the tree is on the surface of the ground and an enormous part of the tree is also within the earth. And so connecting with tree energy is incredibly helpful for healing your body and connecting with our planet. And our planet's name is Eve, just in case you were wondering. So now it might make a lot of sense to you as to why Eve is sort of vilified in the Bible, which is not doing her any favors. And also, what I find really interesting, actually, I was just talking about this the other day, is the word ewe, meaning female adult sheep, which is spelled E-W-W-E. And the two V's together, the two vectors together, have some kind of interesting symbolism, and you'll see that in a lot of deep state or controller names. Instead of using a W, they actually do two V's together. And so I just think it's really interesting that Eve is the name of our planet. This is the female that they have tried to sacrifice over and over again. That the sacrificial female lamb is called a ewe, and you pronounce it you as in the person you're speaking to, but it's also spelled very similarly to Eve. And of course, sheep are famously used in sacrifice or for symbolism of sacrifice. So fascinating stuff. But anyway, how to connect to Eve through trees. So here we go. So I'm actually going to read this from the paper, and I'm going to do my own little side notes, and I'm sure you'll be able to tell the difference. So aside from absorbing carbon dioxide and turning it into oxygen, trees also have the ability to absorb negative energy and transform it into positive. The roots of trees dig deep into earth. The deeper their roots, the higher they rise to the skies. They absorb the energy of the earth as well as the universal force of the sky. Trees are considered the most spiritually advanced plant on earth because of their constant meditation with subtle energy. You can establish a relationship with trees so long as you can understand their language, and they can help you open up your energy channels to cultivate calm, presence, and vitality. They also can benefit from you when you help them eliminate their blocks and devitalized parts. Like any other relationship, you benefit from each other by the constant cultivation of your connection. Keep in mind that small trees don't have enough energy to accommodate you, while gigantic trees may drown you with their energy. It is best to select one that is medium-sized and robust. And I would say if you ever have been drawn to a specific tree, that's your first tree to connect to. I had a willow tree in my life that I used to see on a daily basis. But unfortunately, that willow tree was in somebody's yard, and I didn't know them, so we couldn't hang out. Okay, how to choose the right tree. Humans have been using parts of trees for medications and healing almost as long as humanity exists. But along the way, we discovered what type of tree should be used for what type of remedy. The big ones are best, like pines. They radiate qi, nourish the blood, strengthen the nervous system, and even help in longevity while feeding the soul and spirit. Pines, which are often the subjects of ancient Chinese poetry and paintings, are considered to be immortal trees. And just so you know, there is actually a ring of pine trees that covers, it's like it goes around the entire, if we're going with globe, it goes around the globe. Okay, I don't know, right? So who knows? Okay. There are, however, other trees which you can choose from. The big ones have maximum energy, while those that sit up near the streams are also the best. Trees have different characteristics. Some are hotter or warmer, and others are cooler or colder. With constant practice, you will be able to distinguish each species from the other. The different characters of trees. Cypresses and cedars have the ability to lower the temperature and feed yin energy. That is our more submissive energy. Willows fight the dry winds and eliminate excess moisture from the body, reduce blood pressure, and strengthen the urinary tract and bladder. Elms can calm the mind and strengthen the stomach. Maples fight the dry winds and help reduce pain. Carobs help eliminate internal heat and balance conditions of the heart. Banyan trees and Bengali figs purify the heart and help eliminate moisture in the body. Cinnamons can remove the cold from the heart and stomach. Fir trees can absorb bruises to reduce sweating and heal bone fractures. Hawthorns help in digestion, strengthen the intestine, and fight low blood pressure. Birches help lower body temperature, eliminate body moisture, and detoxify the body. And I just want to add to that, chaga grows on birches. Xylitol is a sweetener made from birch sap. And, early peoples used birch bark as paper. So there's some more for birches for you. Prunes feed the spleen, the stomach, the pancreas, and also calm the mind. Figs help eliminate excess heat in the body by increasing salivation, and it also nourishes the spleen and helps cure diarrhea. Knees help strengthen the bladder and relieve urinary problems in women. Figure 1 shows the person meditating at the base of the tree with their feet, with their legs in the typical yogic meditation pose, and with legs crossed into lap, and the person has their spine leaning up against the trunk of the tree. And so that is one way that you can meditate with a tree. Another way is to sit on a block and put your feet on the roots that are visible and your arms, your hands on either side of the trunk. You can also stand facing the tree and visualize absorbing the tree energy and earth energy through the crown. So the tree energy is coming up from the roots up through your soles, and also coming out of the tree to the branch closest to your crown chakra and descending through the body in that manner. You can also stand right up close to the tree and put your hands around either side of the tree and absorb the energy that way. Another way of doing that is to sit near the tree and put your bare foot up against the tree trunk. And you can also do this with anything that grows. I've seen people do this with corn growing in a field, anything, putting your bare foot on anything that will go, anything natural that is growing into the ground. Okay, so how to establish an energy relationship with a tree. You can create a silent communion rite with the tree that is understood by both you, and the tree. First, you must see the inherent personality of the tree and its life. So observing the tree and receiving its personality. Okay, there are trees that are very generous and quick to give you the energy you need. Other trees are weak or ill and need your healing energy first. So something that I always did as a Reiki practitioner is approaching a situation and saying, what is the healing in this? Where's the medicine in this? So you can heal a tree through intention to heal. Other trees, some are friendly while others are plain indifferent, depending on their energy. You can work with all of them to find which tree works best with you. Be open and give them your respect without pushing them too hard to bend to your purpose. The most important thing when establishing a connection is to be near the tree so you can touch it, to open yourself up shamelessly and to be clear in your intent while showing love. Just make sure that you spend at least 30 minutes around the tree. However, some trees might respond quicker depending on their energy. So having the intention to have a healing relationship with the tree is the most important thing. By activating these 4 elements, you will establish an energy relationship with the tree: touch, openness, sincerity, and love. Here are some techniques you can practice: tree hugging, sitting facing the tree, meditation near the tree, or standing facing the tree. How the healing process begins. Visit the tree regularly. Building a relationship with trees takes longer time than building one with humans. But if you keep returning back to the same tree, you are likely to begin your lasting friendship with it. Once you visit it regularly, it will soon expect you. Some say that it might even miss your presence. Creating a spiritual communion with trees is like making a love that requires tenderness and listening. When you finally establish that communion, you don't need to control the situation. Just allow yourself to relax and melt into that communion. Allow the tree to guide you to your healing. It might remedy your issue, or it might give you intuitive guidance as to find additional help. If nothing else, it will heal the spiritual aspect of your problem. In Japan, people practice forest bathing, where they spend quiet time absorbing the wisdom of ancient forests, taking long walks amongst the trees to stimulate their immune system. In Taoism, students are encouraged to meditate among trees, and it is believed that the trees will absorb the negative energies and replace them with healthy ones. Trees are seen as a source of emotional and physical healing, and themselves as meditators, absorbing universal energy. And I also want to just point out that we belong to the tree of life. There is evidence all over our planet that grand, enormous, multiple 1,000-foot tall trees existed on our planet, and they are no longer here. So you only have to look at things like Devil's Tower and other mesas all over the world, including Ayers Rock, to see this flat sort of stump that has been left. So please do consider this is a very important practice for yourself. It was something that I really, really wanted to talk about in the podcast, and I hope that you find it both enriching and inviting, and I hope you give it a try. All right. So I just wanted to do one last small piece about Notre Dame. I was just watching this really incredible video by a Spanish woman, talking about the esoteric significance of the Notre Dame cathedral burning. And she said, it's about destroying the old to create the new. But one thing I want to make sure that I do say is the old is their old construct. The new is their new construct. So if we're going to cling to the old and say, no, you're terrible, you destroyed the old, don't bring us the new, you're still clinging to their construct. It's just a reset. They are the ones who installed, possibly built Notre Dame themselves. But if they didn't, they're the ones who hijacked it and used it for their own terrible purposes. So please do consider that although we are seeing the old being taken down, it's not necessarily the good, because we have been under their rule for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So let us not shed tears over something we don't understand just yet. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great week. Stay calm, stay positive, chin up. Godspeed, everyone. And I'll catch you next week. Thanks again so much for listening. This has been the Serotonin Receptor. I am forever your host, Serotonin. And please don't forget to send any questions, comments, or information to sarah.tonen.receptor@gmail.com. And that would be spelled sarah.tonen.receptor@gmail.com. Godspeed. Keep you safe and sound. Catch you next week. Bye.